Okay, well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Scott, and thank you, everybody, for attending today. So, where is it? So my name is Luca Benini. I'm with a company called Buddy Media. I'm the managing director for Europe, and we are a technology company. We provide technology to companies who are interested in maximizing their returns on social investments. Specifically, we started with Facebook, with now embracing more and more social networks. So today we're going to talk about global strategies for prestige brands. So this is the title we were given. So social, why social? Well, because social is the natural evolution of the web. So all our most fundamental needs have been taken care of by Google. Now, as we evolve as human beings and the web evolves with us, we need something else to let us deploy our love and belonging. So our sense of friendship and belonging is actually possible now on the web thanks to the social networks. Our esteem and actually self-actualization, if you allocate all of those into social networks, you'll see which one fits best. But overall, the picture says, social is the natural evolution. This is where we are going. I heard it actually last week that social is going to be the foundation for the next web. Social is not a revolution and is not a destination. It's the foundation for what is going to come after we are done with our websites and we're done with our everything that we know so far about the web. Well, what I'm arguing today is that it's where the people, social is where the people are, is an incredibly well-lit place. The truth is only one click away, and if you play by the rule, so if you're actually true to the authenticity that is required to play on social, that becomes the best place to locate your business at. So that might actually redefine completely your strategies. And as Scott was saying, only the companies that are embracing this concept and are actually making it part of their strategy, they're geared up for the future. They are current and they're there to stay for the next years. Let's now go into the global brand strategy and how you design a global brand strategy. Well, let's start with optimize your community management. So one key characteristic of social networks is that it's always on. We actually heard it that August is kind of a troubled month for social media if you need to be always on maybe. But these are just examples of how brand marketers are using social network to deliver an always on experience to their users. You need to keep barriers to entry to a minimum. So if you want to optimize your community, one of the key things that you have is you have to create a welcoming environment. And the example that we have here is actually the difference between popping up the window that actually allows you to give access to a lot of your information that we know is actually a barrier to the entry and to the engagement for your community, and maybe actually switching to a lighter version of that, where you are actually asking kindly without interrupting the flow and without actually taking them out of the environment, you're asking kindly for the data that you're looking for. Showcase multiple product lines. Again, we're optimizing our community. One of the key things that your community will be looking for is information. So give that information where they're looking for it. So don't hesitate to put some more information on your Facebook pages, as in this case, and maybe actually do it in a creative and easily readable way, like J.Crew has done here with a navigation tab at the top. You can actually see that they actually moved it with a simple HTML implementation there, so that they can actually keep again the flow going. Your experience is very smooth if you come to a Facebook page like this. And the other key thing about optimizing your community is that you have to make it relevant. And relevant might also mean that it needs to be in the local language. So people would come to your page, wherever they are in the world. It would be much better for them if the message is optimized to them and it's relevant to them. And optimization might actually mean that it's just in French if you're in France. So I have a couple of examples here of actually two different approaches to it. So Nivea, in this case, decided to create a different page for every single country in which they operate in, and kind of nurture the community locally right there. And so you can see that this is a screenshot of their wall where the conversation is happening in French, quite obviously. If you switch to Magnum on the other side, and we're actually looking at one of their tabs there, they actually went the other way. So they decided to keep one global community linked to facebook.com/Magnum, and yet within that they decided to target locally all the messaging that goes out. So again, two different strategies, or actually maybe the same strategy, just two different ways of making it work and ensuring relevance for their community. Now, we've heard that like is not everything, right? So you have, obviously, to bring people through the door, to establish that connection. You have to bring followers to your page, so you have an audience. But then what matters is what you do with that audience. You need to engage with them. You need to start the conversation and nurture the conversation going forward. So we're looking at here some examples of how you can actually positively engage with your community. Let me put all this up. So Oscar de la Renta is one of the examples that we have up here, because they are kind of setting an example from a very small prestige brand of how, by constantly rewarding your community, you're actually engaging positively with them. In this case, we're looking at quite a key and straightforward sample giveaway or exclusive content, and content that constantly provides that reason to come back and that reason to establish a positive connection with the brand. Bring them the experience live. One of the reasons why consumers will engage with your brand is because they want to belong. We've actually seen it even in the hierarchy of Maslow's before, in a slide before. Well, look at these very simple and straightforward strategy here. Bring them to the show, invite them to the show, let them enjoy and have the experience of your live show when it goes on. And then exclusive content again and interaction opportunities. So in this case, Diane von Furstenberg goes actually beyond just putting exclusive content on. Is also asking people to engage and kind of give their preference on kind of sorting what they liked more about the show. Well, that's a very interesting and very straightforward and easy way to get immediate feedback, and again, to start that engagement and two-way process and conversation with your consumers. You also want to continue to excite your fans with sweeps and contests, and in this case, we're looking at a couple of examples here where it is never too much for your consumers when you can give them something. And again, by doing so, well, the strategy behind this is that you will get a lot of insights into who they are. They are willing to share with you a lot more information for your database, and ultimately that will become extremely useful going forward. What we said about understanding that your most valuable customer might not be the highest spender, your most valuable customer is likely to be someone who's going to fill in this form here and participate into the next contest. Optimize your messaging. This is more into the tactics. We're looking at an example going back in time and looking at a long post from Ann Taylor. Is a US brand, retail for women, and so long getting shorter and getting even shorter, and that engagement rate going through the roof, right? So what you're looking at here is a very simple and straightforward tactic. We actually have white papers on that, and there are extreme examples of that that probably don't belong to this audience today, but I'm going to briefly touch on them. The key here is that the more you engage with your audience, the more likely you are to engage in the future. There's a thing on Facebook that it's called EdgeRank that will re-rank the opportunity for you to be exposed to a message, very much like it does, for your friends. There's, those 10 friends that for which you always see the stories and what they share, is because you engage with that, because you comment on it. So for a brand to being able to establish that connection, like your friends do with you, means that they will have a higher opportunity to be shown high and therefore, or to be shown at all even, in your newsfeed. So positive engagement drives more engagement. And that's why we're saying that some tactics might actually work very well and go a long way and helping you with the next post and the next post again. So there are some other things into the simple yet effective way of engaging with your community. This actually on the left has to do with context. So content, which is something that we all strive for and we all think about, and it needs to be the right content at the right time. A lot of the times, if it's in a context where it makes sense, that is relevant, then it will generate more return. Now, quickly going to number 3, empower your community. You have to take every single opportunity that you have to open the conversation, to allow them to give you rating and feedback, for instance. So everything that you post, don't put it as a billboard. Put always comments, ratings on it, because people want to share, or or maybe they don't, but if they do so, then they come and that opens a discussion and a conversation. And always, you're also gathering a lot of data. Give them, therefore, the tools to share your message. So not only, don't leave it as just, comment here, but always, give them an opportunity to share with their friends and, within their network. And then make them look good. Again, how do you maximize the return on the sharing effect? Well, if you can actually make them look good, so through your message, they will actually have a message out that makes them look good. And typically, it's done with, in these 3 examples at least, it's done with charity. That will go a long way. So again, it's easier to associate yourself with something that has a positive return and a positive outlook on your image. So that's what you might want to do. In this case, was Lady Gaga working with us on a local charity here. This is actually Ford, a very successful example there, and then P&G with their environmentally friendly. The last one is of the tips today is use all the data that you have and measure everything and get it to work for you. So I didn't actually want to put up slides with numbers or trends or the likes and how it goes in the post, but I have some numbers on the screen here. So the key message here: measure everything. Start with the number of likes. Don't worry about it. It's good. And, start with that, but then analyze every single one. Analyze every single post. Go back to the archive and see what worked in the last 6 months, in the last 12 months. Compare yourself to the other. To your competitors and see what are the best practices out there and make sure that that they are the right ones. Use Facebook as a CRM channel. So this is the big evolution, the big leap that we're taking now, is that we are saying we start to have to create a database of the end consumer. We never had that luxury before. Now we can have millions of people in our database, and we can get to know a lot about them. Let's leverage on the opportunity to do that. And then ultimately gather feedback and drive conversion. So all of that can actually lead to something that obviously brings you more value and ultimately converts people. So what have we seen in the last 20 minutes? Well, we've hopefully, I've given you more reasons of, why you want to locate your business on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on YouTube, on Google+. I've given you some global brand strategy, some tips on how to optimize your community, to engage with it, to empower it, and to, always be measuring everything to inform your next move. Now we're at the conclusion. My conclusion, is to be, if you're here, and you made the effort of coming here and you want to hear about it, take on everything that will be said today, take it with you, and try to work on it. And as Scott was saying, try. It's a big strategy behind it. Obviously, that's important. That's a mindset change. But start with the little things that you do every day, and start to create opportunities to engage with your community. You'll be rewarded. Okay? Thank you very much.